Welcome. 10 a.m. Mountain Time here in Santa Fe, a beautiful sunny day. Still a little damp from recent rains. So happy to be here with you. We have a really beautiful hour together, maybe a little more if there are questions. I want to just give thanks to my teachers first. All of the influences and guides and friends and care that has come my way. I'm so thankful on this day and honoring all of the great suffering in the world, the great injustice, the great darkness. And may we together bring some light today. Just some simple care around our homes, in our hearts, as we embark on this journey. May it ripple throughout time, throughout all the communities in which we live. Thank you for being here. I can't stop clapping in prayer. I'm just so happy to be here with you. We have a reading, and I think I'm going to start with that. I have some sense of creating our very first altar today, which is right there near all the books that are laid out. And I'll show you the full scene in just a moment. I'm going to light a little incense for us. And set it here in front of our dear Kuan Yin in royal ease, I believe. Some roses from my garden, nothing special, and also everything special. I'm happy to share that with you. That's how easy it is to create an altar. Just a couple of things that matter to you, and I'll take you around to all the altars in my house. But first, the book. I don't even have my copies yet. This is the mock-up of the cover. God bless my friend Federico. He printed it out. We put it over the cover of the galley copy, which doesn't even have the paintings or the right paper yet. But here we are. I'll get my copies pretty soon, probably in the next 4 weeks or so. I want to inspire you to just take a moment to relax a bit and settle into your seat wherever you are, or maybe you're lying down. And take a few breaths. Allowing ourselves to use the breathing, the simplest breathing, to just change our responses to difficulty and strife, particularly at this time. So take another couple of deep breaths before I read to you. This section is called The Altar of Your Heart. It's from Hold Nothing. It's coming so soon. The real book will have a little gold foil for your delight. And I'll start by saying an altar is a place that reminds you. I wrote this down to myself early this morning. An altar is a place that reminds you of who you are. That's one definition. There are so many that we'll go over. But this particular section is called The Altar of Your Heart. And I wrote above this section when I was preparing, out of the trance of selfing and toward the altar of your heart. Here we go. Have you ever been inspired by a devotional space in someone's home or shop, whereupon seeing it, you suddenly want to do a clearing of your stuff and make your surroundings more intentional? There are physical altars that evoke within us a sense of the ineffable, the mystical, and there's also the altar within the heart. Perhaps right before we fall asleep, that's where we might find ourselves bowing with reverence, tending to ourselves naturally. And it's funny that I didn't write or right after we wake up, because that's when I usually find myself bowing most naturally and tending to myself. I'll read on. This is page 171, by the way, when you get your book. By some grace, early in my spiritual formation, I think I'm in like my late 20s. Side note. By some grace, early in my spiritual formation, I'm welcomed into a small group of 3 women, a few years older than I. I love when I find typos in here. Go easy on yourself. When you find typos in your work, promise it's the best way. I just found a grammatical error in my book that I can't stand. By some grace, early in my spiritual formation, I'm welcomed into a small group of 3 women, a few years older than me, all of whom shine in their respective fields. A world-renowned makeup artist, maybe I'll tell you at the end who these people are, a stylist who rose up with some of the most influentially artful photographers of our time, and a supermodel with the humble heart of a bodhisattva. Each is an exemplar of appreciation, compassion, and wisdom. I won't know for decades how much their kindnesses toward me will impact my work, parenting, homemaking, art, writing, everything. Their devotional spaces are replete with prayerful, intimate objects honoring their teachers and studies. Antique textiles, framed images, statues, talismans, stones. Each item is a sacred conversation with an era I'll never fully know. Sensing a certain maturity unfolding as I spend more time in their homes, I feel invited toward more meditation, practice, and silence. Decades pass, during which I find myself creating purposeful, energetic altars in my own spaces. Each time we move, I create them anew, even on my travels, on desks in tiny hotel rooms. No matter how diminutive, like this one, each altar seems to generate a quality of stability and order within my family and heart, a foundational place to land, to start again. There are arrangements of objects, and then there are altars. I define an altar as a location for deep care, gratitude, safety, and remembrance. Experiencing the sacred spaces of others continues to transform the way I care for my own home, reminding me to stop, rest, listen. Waking in the mornings and making offerings of water, food, and tea. As I light a candle and a stick of incense, I am opening, softening. My dear colleague and friend, Tracy Stanley's book, Radiant Rest, is a key resource in my personal practice and professional teaching, has been for many years now. I strongly recommend this book. Her resonant offerings on the spiritual importance of deep rest and restoration have shifted the way I use my voice, words, and energy to serve and transmit. Years ago, she gifted me a letterpress piece on which she printed her poem, Householder's Prayer. This prayer moves me to revere the most quotidian moments and locate the altar in my own heart. For 40 days, practicing Tracy's Altar of the Heart Nidra, for which I've included the resource and link in the back of the book, note number 5. For 40 days practicing this Altar of the Heart Nidra, I learned to navigate my consciousness toward the innermost altar and rest there. Creating a relationship to my innermost self, I find a simple connection inward, right on time, long overdue. And with Tracy's permission, I'm honored to share her prayer with you. Householder's Prayer. The altar is in my heart. The sun and moon are my gurus. I trust the earth to support me. Each time I close my eyes, I enter the void. My heart is the portal to my sacred cave. I notice the flow of my beloved's breath as they fall asleep, and I synchronize my breath to the flow of love. I place a blessing in the pause between the breaths. I hold the power to create a new reality with every thought. I honor silence as a blessing. I explore who I am and who I am not in the mirror of relationship. I question my beliefs with curiosity and courage. I honor my ancestors. I lay down all self-doubt with compassion and forgiveness. I remember the light of my soul as I enter the dream state. I recall the beauty of truth as I transition from sleep to waking. I know the vibration of truth. I remember that nothing is mundane. I honor the power of the transition as a portal to transformation. Everything is an offering. My life is a sacred ritual. Thank you, Tracy, always. I go on. I place all self-doubt, self-judgment, and fear at the altar of my heart to be transformed, along with my trust, light, and clarity to be amplified. May we all continue our trajectory of healing. There are 4 prompts with which I'd like to begin, and you can take out your journal or your notes, and we'll go ahead and read these, and then we'll go ahead and write on them first. And this will provide the bedrock, the foundation for the altar or altars that you're about to build over the coming days. The first question, might you have a space in your home that you can clear to create an altar of your own? And perhaps you've done that already. If you read the emails that I've been sending, and perhaps you haven't. And it can be a shelf in your bathroom. It can be a shelf in your closet. For a long time, when I lived in New York, my altar was a shelf in front of my books. Maybe if James lets us in, we'll go and see the office where the bookshelf is. And I have a couple of little altars there to give you an idea. So just make a note about the place that you'll clear or have already cleared to create an altar of your own. And we'll go on. Might you have a prayer to offer yourself toward your own healing today? What does that prayer sound like? Is it a word? Is it one word? Like the little daily ceremony deck. And we'll pass by the deck on our journey through the altars, and we'll pick a card for today for ourselves. Maybe your prayer is a long piece of writing that you really find important to you. Maybe it's just a little haiku. But I like writing down a prayer. Place it on the altar for the day. Pick a card, pick a word, place it on the altar for the day. And I have some kind of ballast, some direction. So a space and a prayer to start with. I'll give you another moment to write. And our third prompt. What are you placing at the altar of your heart today? Maybe it's in this time of your life. In Tracy's piece, she lays down all self-doubt with compassion and forgiveness. Some days, just for your notes and your ongoing evolution, some days I place things that I'm trying to close out or end. on the altar, such as self-doubt, such as forgiveness, such as a deep wish to feel better about something. I'll place that on the altar, whether I've written it or I'm just doing it with my intentionality. Some days it's the actual negative, quote unquote, negative thing that I'm wanting to transform that I'll place on the altar. Per Tracy's suggestion, per the ancients. And some days I place on the altar something I really want. You know, a prayer for my kid, I'll place a picture of him. See, a couple of days ago, he was taking an exam, a math test, for which he was studying diligently. And I took a tiny little crystal that always makes me think of him and placed it on my desk altar, which I'll show you momentarily. May he find ease, in his exam. For whom might you place something on the altar today? And maybe it's you, yourself. Maybe it's a way for you to generate more of something you're really feeling positive about. Maybe it's something you need to let go of. And this fourth prompt is a really wonderful, overarching reminder for all of us. We are lucky enough to have a roof over our heads, some of us, most of us. Some of us are currently really struggling. I know a couple of folks who are watching this right now who are struggling with shelter. Can you tenderly appreciate the simple sacredness of your smallest acts of householding? Whether it's cleaning, organizing, tossing, gifting. Can you appreciate these? And maybe right now, as we write, make a list. Today, I know for sure that I have to start sewing my new, I'm making another rakusu for taking the Zen precepts a second time with my chosen teacher, who is in a different lineage than the first teacher with whom I was working, whom I still love. And I've just found a feeling of home. And so just to show you a couple of project altars before we go on, the simple sacredness of the smallest acts of householding. I've just pulled out from under my tea table this little box in which I am keeping my teacher's rakusu for reference for the sewing of it. A little note from the lady who sent me the threads from Japan. She wrote, "Please enjoy hand sewing, Yukiko." And my thread that I just ordered. And the pieces, these are the sample pieces that I'm working on. Nothing special, but I put everything in a box, so it's not all sitting out on a shelf. And when it's time to engage in this simple act of householding and tending to my project, I can just pull that little box out. Similarly, there is another project I want to show you. And let's go right over here. So this is the altar for the book. There are two, actually. And this is one of them. So for the last several months, I've kept all of the notes, manuscript, which is no longer here, the printouts of the cover on the real paper on which the cover will appear. A beautiful wand that my dear friend made, Ewa. This is my personal diary wrapped up in a beautiful cloth, and I'm happy to show that to you, how that works. And some bookmarks for the book. that James designed that I'll send around to all the folks who have commented on the book. I'm so grateful to them. And these little pieces over here are the beginning of an art piece that I'll be offering to a show here locally in Santa Fe in November. It's basically a trajectory of meditation in art form. And it's a miniature of the painting, which is now in front of my Yoga Glow set. So everything kind of plays off each other and feeds me in the process. One more book altar is right here. I'm going to collaborate with a beautiful company, really small company called Living Altars. And they create little altars. And I think what we're going to do is create little packages where you can buy a book and an altar and a candle. And they make these little altars out of local fallen trees. And behind it is just a little painting that I made a long time ago that I love, that I haven't given or sold. So these are very simple. And one more to show you over here in this realm of the house is a Kuan Yin altar. There she is. The garland of flowers was gifted to me by my publisher when we first decided that we were going to work together. There is a bone that James found while we were walking. A rock that was gifted to me by my friend Gurmukh. And one of the other letterpress pieces from Tracy, the goddess. Beautiful, the great mother who holds, nurtures, and supports unconditionally. I feel like it's important to honor the goddess as much as I can. So I keep that very close. Dear friend gave me this beautiful glass feather. Keep that very close. And like that. I even have a little altar here on my easel. Let's see if I can get you straight. There we go. And again, Kuan Yin and Royal Ease. That little bird that you're seeing on the screen on the side is lead, and it's a pencil. James found it for me. I'm pretty sure it's lead, but maybe it's something a little less dangerous. A bunch of little shells from the beach near a place that I really love, and a rock from the trail here. And a blank canvas for the second of 3 pieces that I will create for that show here in Santa Fe at l'École des Beaux-Arts. So let's go past the book altar and walk toward my study space. And this feels like an important place to share with you. I didn't clean it up. I just left it as it is. And perhaps I should have, but this is really how I work. And I think it's important to just be real. The pile on the floor, these are the books for future presentations and retreats, including a big acupuncture book called Nourishing Destiny by Lonnie Jarrett. It's coming with me to Florida for the Chosen Tea and Yoga retreat. And I keep it close because I know I'm going to be collecting from it soon. And along with Ravi Ravindra, because my co-teacher Colin Hudon and I are both really big fans of the Fourth Way. So I'm keeping those there. I spent some money to print out Iris Verbas's workbook and course materials for a course that she's teaching called Earthkind. It's so beautiful. In the advertisement for the course, she gently demands that we go ahead and print it out so we're not on the computer while we're working through it. I'm so grateful. I just walk outside with this and a little rucksack and I go through it. It's so beautiful. I've been writing, Iris. Thank you so much. Iris is Nabalo on Instagram, just in case you want to check out her course, Earthkind. It's so great. These are all of my books, my current Zen study books for chaplaincy and beyond. My chaplaincy notebook, in fact, is right here. It's a big fat one. Look at it. That's everything that I've done so far. It's like 34 papers or something crazy. And these are the things that are inspiring me in this moment, this morning. It's the Heart Sutra in two different translations, a book from Catherine Thanis, who's my great Dharma grandmother, I believe. This you can find through Santa Cruz Zen Center. Most Intimate Ordinary Way. These are recollections of her students about Catherine. And she has another book there called Grass Writings, if you're interested in learning a little bit about what is just moving me deeply right now. Grass Writings, wow. And her other book, it's worth mentioning. Which, if you've been with me for any length of time, you know, The Truth of This Life. What a beautiful book. It's just a compilation of her talks that was created posthumously. Very important in my way. So, and here I have this sweet little Buddha from, which is modeled after the Buddha of Kamakura. One candle, a little Japanese candle holder, a rock from very, very long ago. My friend Pam and I sourced this one and put it into a piece of art. And this one is from Colorado. I always ask if I can take when I'm outside, and I always listen. Sometimes I can't, but this one was a yes. And lastly, very often I'll leave myself little notes. I have a Zen calendar that one of Jonah's friend's parents gave to me. And so if I really love it, I'll just cut it out and leave it for myself on top of my books. It's a wonderful way to, commiserate with yourself and create connections. I pulled that out, I put it down on top of a book, and then I look at the book and it says, the quote, obviously, having no destination, I've never lost. And the book reads at the top of the page on which I place this, therefore, in emptiness, no form, no feelings, perceptions, impulses, consciousness, no eyes, no ears, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no object of mind. And this is no color, no sound, no smell, no taste, no touch, no realm of eyes, and so forth, until no realm of mind consciousness. I set that down. And sure enough, of course, this past weekend, I make the correlation to the teaching that Sarah and I were offering, Sarah Saul, Dr. Sarah, formerly Gottfried. And we spoke about the trance of selfing, as I mentioned earlier at the top of the section that I read, and how important it is, especially right now, to remember anything we do in our practice, on our way, is really for the benefit of all. And it's so hard to remember that as a kid raised in Western cultures. And so it's really nice, you leave yourself a note, you place it down sort of innocently, and then it finds a way to sort of solidify some other teaching into your field. So let's go on to another altar. I'm excited to show you a few more. We've got plenty of time. Let's do the desk one, actually. There are two. The first one is here. It seems sort of inconsequential, but I look at it all day, every day. I love the dried branches. Don't hesitate to have dried things. I've got the daily ceremony deck, of course. I pulled trust this morning. Let's pull another one for us. Oh no, I have another altar where we'll pull another one. A little Kuan Yin here. Hope you can see that. Yeah. Okay, good. I've got a little basket that my dear friend Brian sent with some sacred items in it. A little bird from the store in Japan that I love so much. And a rock from one of my favorite beaches on which I've melted a candle from another dear, dear friend, Johanna. And I hung a little piece of fiber art here. So these are just precious, simple things that I look at all the time to remind me. And here's the desk altar. Oh, I love this one so much. I stare at it all day, every day when I'm at my standing desk. And it's a little picture of me when I was like, I don't know, 6 or 7, I would say, hugging a tree. I hope you can see it. The quote is from Rosemary Watola Traumer, one of my heroes. Each breath, a sanctuary I carry with me. The little heart from Pete and Alessandra, the little mini Somavedic, the little gnome that I'm saving for my friend Allah. Oh, I'm just charging him up for her tea table that I will send soon. A tiny finger mala that Mark Holtzman bought me. I'm telling you, it had to have been 15, 20 years ago. Keep that right here on Manjushri's hand. And a tiny little good luck charm also from Japan, a little turtle to remind me to slow down. And some Melissa, which I put on the roof of my mouth whenever I think of it, for so many reasons, but not the least of which is my own connection to myself. This is a piece of art from Mijanu, Mystic Mama, one of my dearest friends for the longest time. And it's, I don't know if you can see it, but it's a woman laying on a rock. And I had a really profound experience once in Sequoia National Park where I laid on a rock for, the better part of an hour. Watch the water on my belly and watch the sky on my back. And this reminds me of that. So I'm showing you all these things and sort of giving you the personal stories because I want you to open up within your own being. Kind of to what stories mean something to you and what objects might mean things to you. We're moving on to the foyer, the front door. And here is Avalokiteshvara. And if you were a student at Veer Yoga, you know this piece. My dear friend Mass gave it to me probably 23 years ago. Wow. And it's been with us ever since. And I'll introduce you to the other items on this altar. So number one in the gold frame, right there, is a piece that I purchased before I ever stepped foot at Upaya Zen Center during COVID, when Roshi Joan was making these small, swift paintings. I bought that one of the mountain. It was so nice to support her and Upaya at the time. It still is, and there's still beautiful pieces that you can purchase online at upaya.org. In front of that is the daily ceremony deck from which we will pull. And then on the other side are the incenses. And I've set it up just like at Upaya with the purple fancy ceremonial incense in the front. And then the green, more daily incense in the back. Both are from Japan. The 3 cups in front of Avalokiteshvara are from Eiheiji, and they have rice to represent a food offering. They have water to represent a water offering, and soon after we finish, I'll make some tea and I'll fill up this 3rd cup with the tea offering. The necklace that is hanging in Avalokiteshvara's hand, and by the way, Avalokiteshvara is also Kuan Yin. It's the same deity. This is from Sattva, my dear friend, and I just love having it here. That's a Tripura Sundari. And that, of course, is from Sarah Tomlinson. the yantra master of my life. Such a beautiful one and such an important one in my space. Same. Tripura Sundari. Actually, this is a Sri Yantra on the necklace. That's a Sri Yantra. I misspoke. Let's pick a card. And this is what I do every morning with James. Each of us picks a card and then we leave it out for the other to see. All right, let's do this for all of us. Okay. Harmony. Wonderful. This is a little sneak preview of the deck that's coming. Yeah, I'm pretty excited about this actually. Are you reading that straight? Should I flip things? I wonder if I need to flip it and if it's possible to flip it. Okay. Let me check in the chat and see if there is anything in the chat for me. Let's turn the chat on. Okay, if anyone knows how to flip my screen, I would be psyched to learn. In any case, I chose harmony for us. Okay, let's keep going. We're going to go to the bedroom altar, and this is where I sit in the morning. You know, I'm going to show you James's altar too. Why not? This is his. It's so sweet. It's super representative of his roots and his life. And there are some precious objects from his mom, pictures of his mom, some little icons that he really loves. And then here's one of his mom's rings here as well. And just a couple of shells from a dear friend of mine, a jawbone that James has polished and foiled. Just things that mean things. But the altar that I sit at in the mornings is the real treat, the one I wanted to show you. I'm going to set you on this table right here. You know, let me just show you the whole corner first. Okay, there's the corner. There's a chair where I read. There's the cushion where I sit. There's a piece from Mayumi Oda, the orange one. And then the piece from Kaz Tanahashi that means gratitude. What a blessing to have these two pieces in my home. I'm seeing the raised hands. I promise I'll get to you. I promise. Bet you Maggie has some insight. Okay, so this is where I sit in the morning, and I'm gonna just sit here with you for a little while. I bowed in earlier. I'm not gonna bow in now, but those of you who know what that means. Okay, and this is where I sit. And I face the wall, and the light hits me, and I'm so sorry that it's so bright. And I'll walk you through what's on this altar, if I may. So first, I've got the Kuan Yin pouring water, holding the flower. I've got a tiny little handmade, this I have to show you up close, Jizo, that I bought in Japan at this tiny little store in Nara, where the owner makes these by hand. I mean, it's nothing. And it's also everything, isn't it? I have an obsession with Jizo. Jizo is the one who looks over the children and the travelers. Oh gosh. And in this little folio here, I have my mala that I bought in Japan at the temple where Dogen was ordained So I don't take it out really, but for special occasions, and sometimes when I sit, I just let it sit here in my lap. Also from Japan. We have this tiny little creation. The padding in which I took this home was priceless. Um, this is made of paper, this vase, and this is a dried flower. And it is one of the most exquisite things I've literally ever seen. And I know that technically we're not supposed to have dried dead flowers, but I mean, look at how that looks. And no matter where you're sitting, do you see how it's framed up by the Enso? So the picture behind it, importantly, is an invitation from a visit that Thich Nhat Hanh made to ABC Carpet back in the day. Some of you know this, when I was teaching yoga there on Saturdays. This is so special to me. It's nothing. You know, it's just an invitation to an event, but it's so special to me. And the fact that it's here. And then behind it, I keep the 2 thank you notes from Upaya before I ever stepped foot in there, when I was becoming a member and beginning to make offerings to the center during COVID. And they're pictures of Manjushri on the altar and pictures of the Buddha that I often photograph in the garden just outside of the Zendo. Just, you know, it's nothing and it's everything. And I want to encourage you to make these altars very personal, very simple. The last thing on this altar is a little candle for fire and a rose from my garden that I just picked this morning. I wish you could smell this. It's like buttery, delicious, sweet for you. I picked it for us. Okay. So I'd love to continue a little bit with some more notes on your own altars and what it means to create your own. And I'm going to look at the Q&A section. I see that there are some questions and possibly some instructions. Iris on IG, I'm so happy to tell you, is Nabalo, Nabalo. What a gift. What a sister. And that's the Earth Kind course. Gurjinder said it's good. And Anne said it's straight, no need to flip. It's perfect. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Maggie raised your hand on accident. Natalia, awesome. And Dina, just sending, oh, Dina. Dina's my camp friend. And I've always been like this. And she can tell you. You, sacred being of love and light with memories of sylvan shores and the light that was even emanating from you then and in the sacred space of your bunk bed. Ah, Dina, I love you. Will you please call me? Tina P. Text me. Another question, do you use feng shui to place your various altars? To be honest, I don't. I maybe should, but boy, the energy in this house is so smooth. James knows a little bit about feng shui, but I don't actually personally. So it's yeah, it's I work very intuitively. I don't really know so much. I'm not that knowledgeable about feng shui, but boy, do I love placing altars around the house. And there are many more. There's one in the bathroom, there's one in my closet. There are so many, but this is what we have time to. Thank you. There you are over. Hold on. I'm just there. You overlooking the mountain. Do you have an altar outdoors? We do. We have one on there's like a little patio that we have. And there are 3 of these little tiny shells. And on one of them, there's a Jizo, a stone Jizo that one of Jonah's friends bought for us. Protector. There's one that has Mother Mary. And there's one that has the Our Lady of Guadalupe. just things that mean something to me or to James. Yes, the bear figurine. Thank you so much, Natalie. It's a Keshi, from Keshi. It's a fetish. So it's a Native American fetish. That's what it's called. And I actually put some notes to myself so that I would remember to show you, and I'll bring you back there in just a moment. The bear is the guardian of the West. And these fetishes, these stone fetishes, are honoring of the natural traits of the animal spirit that they represent. And through honoring them, we may summon our own similar attributes. That's the sort of movement behind those animals. And the bear is the guardian of the West. So thank you for asking that question, because here's another really important point. You can create your altars with the 4 directions very easily. I study with Marcela Lobos, and she is the best. And I just took her 13 Moons course on the 4 winds. 13 Moons, Marcela Lobos. It's one of my dearest friends. I'll be studying with her and her husband in February. Her husband and I had the occasion to teach a class together this year over the summer on the Yoga Sutras, Yoga, Power, and Spirit. It was wonderful. In any case, she teaches altar creation from the perspective of the 4 directions shamanically. And that was a really cool exploration for me. I learned a great deal going from the south to the west, to the north, to the east. Just beautiful to travel the medicine wheel and feel the very natural emergence of energy that I felt. And the bear took his place there. And to answer your question, Maggie, yes, I refresh them all the time. This one doesn't change substantively so much, the altar in front of which I'm sitting, but I dust regularly, change the water, the rice, the tea on the main altar that I showed you. You know, light incense. There's a little incense holder here as well that I keep, which is just a beautiful, very different kind. And I keep the incense nearby. This is smokeless Japanese incense, so that when I light it, and sometimes I'm sitting and James is still sleeping. So when I light it, I just place it like that in there. Super Japanese, one of my favorite items from there. And this way it doesn't bother him when he's sleeping. So smokeless. Okay, I think I've answered. Oh, Carla, have you ever done altar for your menstrual cycle to offer to Mother Earth? I've never done that. And alas, that ship has sailed, thankfully. So you'll have to teach me about that. Joanna, thank you for being here. And oh, my travel altar. Hi, Sarah. I love you so much. It depends on where I'm going and the length of the stay. So if I'm going to be gone for more than a week, I'm going to bring a whole tea setup. And in the tea setup, I'll bring sometimes this young little Jizo. I love him so much. I have to wrap everything up really, really well. So it's usually like a whole extra suitcase, which is scandalous, but very joyful when I get to the other side and I have everything with me. I'll bring a small figurine. I'll bring a few sticks of incense, an incense holder, a lighter, and some sort of fabric or mat on which to put everything, so that I have a place that I can just lay down wherever it is. Maybe it's a desk in a hotel room, it doesn't matter, but a place where I can lay everything down and sort of treat the space with respect. And then it's kind of an anchor for my meditation practice when I'm on the road and I'm not here in the corner facing the wall. Thank you for that question, Sarah. Love you so much. Book names from Tracy in the beginning. So Tracy is Tracee, Stanley. She's mentioned in the book and quoted in the book. She has so far 2 books. There's a third one coming. And the first one is called Radiant Rest. And the second is called The Luminous Self. I recommend both if you are a teacher of yoga, a practitioner of yoga or meditation, or in any way interested in regulation of your nervous system, which is going to be the direction of my work going forward. The book names covered. Do you find a bit of your little child you in most altars, or do you mostly bring elements of now and the future? Maybe a balance of all. Melanie, merci pour this question. You know, the older I get, the more child me is present. I cannot explain this phenomenon. I'm fascinated. The older I get, the more I am a kid. I feel like a little kid. And so, yeah, there are elements of that everywhere, Melanie. I would say it's really important to have one altar where you're honoring yourself as a child, at least one. I have a beautiful one in my closet where I have my mother as a child. It's so special. I have one in my bathroom. I think I'm going to show you the one in my bathroom where I have my kid as a child. Show you quickly. I love this one so much. Come around to the other side. So we've got, just moving some windows. We've got the incense holder, which I picked up at Tassajara this summer to support them, and some Japanese ash. I also bought that there. Got a candle. The lighter is hiding behind the Kuan Yin, of course. This is from Amanda Giacomini. She used to make these very big, or she still does, big walls of 10,000 Buddhas. The name of her Instagram is 10000 Buddhas, Amanda Giacomini. And one day, many years ago, I was like, Amanda, I just want a small one. A piece from Katori Life. She's a local jeweler here in Santa Fe. And this is a piece from my sister. This is the best idea ever if you're inspired. Judy is Jonah, little mini Jonah. And this I keep everywhere. I won't show you the one in my closet because the closet is, you know, kind of a sacred space. So I'm going to spare you that. But this Lotus Way makes mists of flower essences. And I am obsessed. And I keep them everywhere. I have Sacred Body, Divine Timing, Divine Truth. They're always around. And it's nice to keep them on the altar because I'll show you what happens. I come over to the altar, give myself a little spray, take a little moment, whether I light a stick of incense or not. And I have a moment with my highest self here. So lovely. All right. This hour went so quickly. Let me see. Now we're in my bathroom. We're going to go back to the we're going to go back to the corner. This is as good a space as any to sit together. Sophia Elena, thank you, Ele, for this divine space and inspiration. Where can we find the first Tracy's prayer you read? It's in the book. So I read it for you because it's in that chapter in the altar of your heart, in Hold Nothing. I'm very excited to share it with you. And my favorite incense, that's a really good question. I have to look that up. Maybe I'll include it in the gift guide so that I can transmit that easily to as many folks as possible, as swiftly as possible. It's a Japanese brand, and I actually get it on Amazon. It's very easy to find. A couple different ones. Okay, there are some more Q&A questions that I want to make sure I tend to. Leah, surrounded by altars without realizing I've created with love. And there are several altars I've made intentionally on my dresser and nightstand. I guess I should make them more intentional. Intentional, rather. How do I spell Jizo? Jizo. Jizo. Yes. Oh, Jax. Thank you, dear. It's so nice to have you here. Thank you. Thank you so much. Molly. Oh, God, it's been so long. Been refreshing my altars for the first time in many moons while listening and watching. Did not know it was exactly what I needed to bring life to my heart and space this morning. How wonderful. Allison, I can't wait to read your piece. It's Friday. Do you ever set up altars in nature with items found in nature near where you may walk regularly? Oh, yes. Oh, yes. They're like little reminders. I have a trail where I walk near my house, and we will grab a rock or a little flower or a little piece of some sort of cactus, and we'll place it on a piece of wood, like a little piece of dead wood, and we'll place it on a certain rock. And then the next time we'll place a little more. The next time there'll be a little cairn happening. Someone else has done their work and created. So yes, for sure. Have fun in nature. We went backpacking with Jonah this summer, and we were finding cairns everywhere. And Jonah educated me that actually the cairns are indicators of the trail, which I had no idea about. And it was so helpful because there was one point where I went to pee, maybe more, I don't know. I went to pee and I couldn't find my way back. And I started looking for cairns, and that was how I found my way back to the trail. So very interesting. Elizabeth Jane, thank you so much. Jizo, Barbara is Jizo. And besides Melissa, any other oils for space? You know, I really love, I usually have a spray. I just sent a gift to my kid of the one that I recently made. I usually have a mist of doTERRA peppermint, lavender, geranium, and eucalyptus. And I find that to be so clearing for space. More technical, less sort of pleasurable, but very effective for clearing spaces would be rosemary, tea tree, I love using bergamot to clear spaces as well. And I've made sprays like that in the past. And very often I'll just take the bergamot and sort of swish it into the sink. People think I'm crazy, but I love it. This is not kind of silly. Who makes my simple dress? It's a company, a little shop, all handmade here in Santa Fe, and it's called Home Frocks. And I saved up and I gifted it to myself. I love it. Look at the little, how you can double wrap the thing and you can make it sort of empire. Oh, I just love this piece. I wore it special for you. And it's unfinished at the bottom, you can see. You see how it's sort of like frayed. I love that so much. Not silly at all. We could talk about clothes all day. Janet, thank you so much for being here. Such a sweet, sweet time together. I'm so glad that you're here. Nice to know that you were here. Kim L, thank you so much for coming. What a blessing indeed. All right, we've covered the Q&A. I think we've got all of them answered. Beautiful. Yeah, amazing. So a couple of things. I sent out in Substack today on a free post so everyone can read it, elenabrower.substack.com. A beautiful post on friendship. And at the bottom, and this is important for the teachers in the room and the facilitators, therapists, and guides, I am offering to the folks who purchase pre-order, because the pre-order campaign is the most important for a new book. I am offering to the folks who purchase one case a private virtual session with me. There are 36 books in a case. And if you go to BookPal, BOOKPAL.com, you can get a pretty significant discount on bulk. So it's like basically almost half price. One case is a virtual workshop, and that means that you can bring friends, family, your reading group, your students, and have me come and serve you all a workshop regarding your favorite or most impactful aspect of the book for you. Those who order 2 cases or more get to attend for free a Hold Nothing facilitator training that I will be hosting toward the end of this year into early next year. And that will be a 3-week, 3-session training in which I will share an 8-module curriculum based on the chapters in the book. So let's say you have a retreat coming up and you really just want someone to give you the curriculum. You're over your own teaching, you're over your own ideas, you just are not coming up with it. This would be a really cool way to have a curriculum handed to you that you will then receive from me and then make it your own. Add your practices, add your heart to it. So I'm really encouraging those of you who are interested to buy in bulk so that you can have time with me on the book. This book means a great deal to me. It is full of my own personal stories. It is extremely personal to the point where I'm a little bit nervous, but I know it's the right thing. And my hope is that every single person who holds it and reads even one section of it in one sitting will be inspired to start thinking about the stories that have impacted them and bring about not just a healing, but just a real understanding of ourselves and of each other. Yeah. So thank you so much. What a blessing from my little tiny private corner to you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your interest in the book. Thank you for your pre-orders. It means the world to have this book pre-ordered. I would love to get it into the hands of children. And if enough of us pre-order, the bookstores will start to order more. And I can start to venture out into schools with this book and start to encourage kids to write their stories. That's my ultimate goal. And I was very careful with my language so that the kids could read this too and enjoy it. More on that later. Thank you for everything. And thank you for being here with me today. I will send the recording. Don't worry. If you missed anything, I will send it very soon. Thank you so much. Bye. I feel you. I feel you. I'm bowing to you very deeply. Thank you so much.